one of the things I love about our community is just remembering to pause, to breathe, and to be grateful. And the reason why I think about this is when in our travels, there was a moment we were at the airport and I saw this sign, and it was actually had like 3 things that people aren't, do not get rude, do not do and it was like, don't act out, don't be violent. And I thought, oh my gosh, do we have to have signs like this for adults? So I know sometimes things get heated or whatever, but just to like that pause and that breath, and just think about the things that we should be grateful for, and just I try to spread some joy and happiness and in sometimes difficult situations. So
yeah. Welcome to the Locala podcast, everybody. I'm Lisa Anderson, your host and publisher of Locala magazine. Before I introduce you to the person we have on our couch today, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsor, which is Your Place Mortgage and Title, your everything agency. You can learn more about them at www.yourplaceocala.com. So today we have Angie Lewis back in the building with us, and I am so excited. Welcome, Angie.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And it is a literal couch. I mean, little couch, but
it's a literal couch.
Yeah, absolutely. When I walked in, I was like, wait, what did I sign up for today?
Yeah. We're having therapy today.
Vulnerable moments. Okay.
That's right. I forgot the tissues, but feel free to cry if you'd like to.
It can happen very easily.
Yes. So Angie joined us for our January 2022 issue when we were doing bucket list items, and you have since traveled.
I did. I just marked another one off. So we just returned from a beautiful trip to Greece. So that has been, I think I shared that with you. That was one that's been on my list for a long time.
Yeah.
And when I turned 50 a couple of years ago, we made a list of 5 places we wanted to get to in the next 5 years, and Greece was at the top of the list, so we get to check that one off.
Oh, wow. I've seen some of the pictures come across on social media. It looks so beautiful.
It absolutely is. And it's really hard to capture all of it in a photo. Dave Smith, I'm like, I'm no real photographer, but it and the people. The people there are just genuinely kind and just were so happy to share their country, like just wanted us to have the best time. Oh. So it really is. I'd heard stories about that, but they really kind of just take you in almost like family, and just want you to have fun.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was great.
That's amazing. Well, Angie, since we have you back for a second time, I do want to give you a chance to kind of talk about your business if you'd like to. You are the owner of Angie Lewis State Farm. Mm-hmm. And so how are things going for you in your business?
Things are going really well. Of course, we're all very thankful right now, coming out of this last storm, that our area wasn't really affected, but I have a lot of friends down in South Florida that have got a lot of devastation and stuff, but they're getting through it and helping people. And that's what we do. So that is really when I told my team as we were preparing for the upcoming storm, I said, this is when we actually hold our promise to, when people trust in us, because we really sell a promise. Yeah. It's nothing tangible. You can't touch it. You can't, I said, we really sell a promise of being there on someone's worst day. Yeah. And so we were ready, and we were thankful that, we didn't have a lot of terrible things in our area, but we are, things are good, and it's prompted a lot more conversations and people wanting to like, I probably need to review my coverages. And that's always our thing, is like, we kind of pride ourselves on the education piece, and just making sure people truly understand what are your coverages, what's important to you. We try to just build a plan that fits the individual and their family. So we get to help out on that side, and then we also help out on the financial side with the other things that we do around investing and planning for people's futures. So we really get to help holistically the entire piece with a family, from starting a family to going into those middle years, and then even retirement. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's so cool. So I know you talked a little bit about it to me in the interview, but I don't think a whole lot of it made it into the story, if I remember. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey into deciding to open your own business?
Yeah, we were at the time. I was, my past was education. I was a school teacher. I taught first grade for 7 years, and then did some independent consulting with the Illinois State Board of Education. So education's always been a passion of mine. I love learning. I love education. I love helping people along with their journey. And I then ended up into pharmaceutical sales for a while, and which was again a lot of learning and education. And I just happened. My best friend at the time, it was a State Farm agent, and he just kept talking to me about, I just really think that you would be great at this. And to be honest, I was like, oh, insurance, gross. Like, I don't really love that.
And diving into the learning of it couldn't have been much better
Yeah,
either.
I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't like paying that myself, let alone asking other people to do that.
Yeah.
But again, it was like, well, let me kind of, I spent some time with him and in his office, and really found out what it's about. Again, helping people, educating people, making sure that they have, proper things so that there is no financial devastation. And the more I got into it, then fell in love with it. And he was a great support person for me. And I also, with him, I got to see how he was able to interact with the community. His give back was huge, and I would always been a State Farm customer. So they always sponsored my little league teams, and I always had T-shirts and things. So there was that piece of it too, that philanthropic piece that I was really drawn to. So I made the leap, and here we didn't know anyone in Ocala. There happened to be an agent that was retiring, and State Farm was like, here's an opportunity that you might want to look at, and came to visit Ocala and fell in love with it here. Yeah. It was just something. I spent a little time in our downtown, and this was 17 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, what year did you come in?
I came in 2005.
Okay.
So
it was really still a very small downtown
right,
at that point.
Yeah, but there was just something. I had visited Florida, of course Disney, but and the Panhandle and Key West and beaches and things, but I didn't even. I saw the moss-covered trees and the springs, and then I started meeting some people here, and I was like, this is really a special place. And so had a meeting, of course, with my husband and our kids at the time, and I was like, I think this is where I think we should go, and here we are. Yeah, and we just love it. Ocala's been like really, really good to us. So it's home now. Yeah, it really is home. So
17 years already.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. How does time fly? I mean, I came down in 2009 as well, and so things were just really starting to pick up in the downtown area. I think it was probably 2010, 11. It started to pick up a little bit more in the downtown area, but time has just flown by, hasn't it?
Oh, it absolutely. And I think about too, our downtown. Just again, I was part of the Save the Marion Theater group.
Okay,
and that was I'm trying to remember what year but that was they were going to shut the Marion Theater down or whatever was happening there, and they were trying to figure all that out. And again, it was just like, oh, the down. That's such a iconic. It's the most I think it's the most photographed building.
I know,
probably,
yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, you always see pictures of it, but I was like, no, the downtown is like the heartbeat of our community. It's the gathering place. So, and now fast forward, it just busy. And this weekend, FAFO, I'm so excited. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited as well. Yes,
it's one of my favorite events.
Go to it this year. So I'm pretty excited. And speaking of Save the Marion and doing things in the community, you actually do sponsor some of the shows now at the Marion once in a while.
We do. We're actually the October, I think, along with Justin McDonald and TJ. And we're the October sponsor for their series this season. And then we try to pick up some things here or there along the way when there's special events or whatever. But we just that building, there's just something special about it. And I think it's important. I think it's important to our community that we have a community theater like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit more about your recent trip? Do you mind talking about that a little bit more?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I know we picked it up at the beginning, but what was that like? I mean, let me do a better transition into that.
Okay.
But how does, like, when you go and doing traveling and stuff, how does your business work with you being gone and versus when you first started your business,
that's a great question, Lisa, yeah.
and now that you're able to go and travel a bit more?
Yeah, and that is a really great question because when we started, of course, the agency, new to Ocala, not knowing anyone. It was myself, my husband, and one team member who's still with me, Terry Paramore. So the three of us. So there was no thoughts of leaving.
No,
we were just and so that has been part of the vision and the plan over the last 16 plus years of building this team that I could really empower in several ways. One, just to really see ownership. I mean, I always tell them, I know my name's on the sign, but really it's your business as much as it's my, I mean, without them, I have no business, then I am there to, and I'm always available and stuff, but there's no way that I can do all of it and take care of, we average about 375 calls a day into the office.
Wow.
So we're busy, we have a lot of moving parts. So just really bringing on talented people who are motivated and self-starters and really take ownership in their role. And we're constantly working on professional development and things like that. So this was the first time, this was the longest I've ever been out of the office. Like, now the thing is, I have my laptop, and as you know, and one thing that we all learned during the shutdown and with COVID was, remote working is doable. So I was very plugged in, but I, through check-ins and being able, and there were some things that, I handled, but it was good to see that I could do that away. And the most beautiful thing, and I just give so much credit to my team. They are just so fantastic. But when I came back, actually last Friday was my first day back in the office, and I had been gone 21 days.
Wow.
And I came back into not one issue. Hey, we need help with. It was everything. Just So I just really have this incredible group of people that I'm surrounded with, and we really are a team. Like it's a team. Like everybody leans on each other and helps each other through everything. So it's them. It's not me. So no, that's been, and what I think with that, and I've had some younger agents ask me some of these things as well, and I've been really transparent with my team throughout my journey of showing them, like, here's my 5-year, 10-year fit. This is where I really see us going. I don't really see myself stepping, as long as I'm healthy and my mind is good. I love what I do. I love meeting with people. I love bringing on new team members and growing them either in the position in the agency or sometimes out of the agency and they get their own agency, or maybe it's even a different career. But that gives me joy, and I don't really see myself not doing that. So if we can create a place where I can still take time away and go away for 2 to 3 weeks and kind of recharge and then I don't have to necessarily say, oh, I'm always working towards that retirement date, because to me, I don't see myself ever retiring. I don't even, I just maybe my office, it'll look different, but not, I feel like I'll always be plugged in and a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, before we move on, I am going to take a quick break and thank our sponsor one more time.
Today's episode is brought to you by Your Place Mortgage and Title, your everything agency. Purchasing a home should be as easy as 1, 2, 3. At Your Place Mortgage and Title, we offer professional realty services through Professional Realty of Locala, mortgage and commercial loan services, and title services. We pride ourselves on customer service and education. Contact us today to learn how we can make your home buying and selling process a pleasant one. Visit www.yourplaceocala.com to learn more.
So, I know we talked a little bit about this in your article, and I just thought it was such a cool way that you guys managed to do this, because one of the things that you said to me was that you didn't want people to get the impression that you're just going out and spending money willy-nilly and all this kind of stuff to travel. And you talked a lot about the sacrifices that you guys make as a family, and you sit down and have a discussion about that. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you guys do to kind of plan these big trips, and the fact that you said these are the 5 places that I want to go, you know?
Yeah. So a few things. Well, one of the things is when we downsized and I moved into my work building. So we actually live where I work. So when the kids both transitioned into college and then out into the workforce, we were like, well, we don't really need, they don't live in Florida anymore. And we more, with their schedules, we go see them more than they are able to come here. So when we were making that decision on, purchasing a building for work, we found one that we could also live in. So that helped a lot because we don't have that two expenses of having a house and a business. We can I'm able to like run everything together, so that was a big savings for us there. And then with the kids, we decided that making memories together was more important than things. So when it comes to birthdays and Christmas and those type of things, we kind of pull together now and say, okay, where do we want to go and what do we want to do? And I think I shared with you that first trip was to Peru and over Christmas, and we did that hike up the Machu Picchu and Machu Picchu on Christmas Day, and those are just magical moments that now we will cherish, forever. And so we've started that tradition now of being able to just as a family, instead of buying things and focusing on material things, that we focus more on, okay, let's save our money in those areas and put that towards taking a trip. So we will. Our daughter, I don't even know if I told you this, Lisa. Our daughter recently moved to Paris, France.
Really?
Yeah. So she's teaching at the university there. So she's been there now. She moved there at the end of July, 1st of August, and so that will be, my son and my daughter-in-law haven't been there, so we're going to go do that then over the Thanksgiving holiday, and spend some time with her and get to do that together. So so that's really kind of what we just kind of made a plan, and I think I told you in the early years we literally were taking change and putting it in a bucket, and we had a jar in the house, and that was our, we weren't allowed to put it, no credit card, like it was like, if we can't afford it, we're not going to go. And so we were just kind of saving and doing those kind of things to make sure that, we weren't, I don't want to put put us in a financial position to do that. So we kind of, do without some things that really you're not doing, I'm not I don't run to Starbucks every day. I don't, I eat lunch at home, unless it's like a business, lunch or something like that. Right. But we try to kind of, where we can, save on those things.
Yeah, I think, I brought that up because I think that's really important for people, because you get this picture when you get to see people that are traveling, you think, oh, I could never do that because they have all the money and they're doing all the things. But you guys did it in such a good way. And even as a young couple, you started that, like you said, putting the change in the change jar, and you knew that those things were important to you, so you made them a priority.
We met this cute little, sorry to interrupt, but we met this cute little couple in Greece that was in their mid-20s, had been married a few years, and we kind of looked like, we were like, wow, this, and they like had taken 2 weeks and was doing this, and like, that is really impressive. And he was a firefighter, and she manages a coffee shop, and so we kind of chatted with them about that, and they talked about that too. They was like, we're making some sacrifices because this is more important to us, like this time that we're having together, and the thing being able, so that it is prioritization and what's important, and putting a plan together to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of your younger years, I would love to hear your love story, if you wouldn't mind telling us how you and your husband met. And
all right, so we met in I was in 5th grade, he was in 6th grade, and we happened to be put on the same flag football team. And so his dad was our coach, and so that is how we met, because we played, and we won. We won the championship that year, and if I had I'll have to send you a picture of this, Lisa, because it's pretty funny, because so I was pretty big, and so I was a blocker, and also played tight end, and Clint was in the back. So basically I tease, I say I blocked, and he got to run and score all the touchdowns and got all the glory, but and so that was where we first met, and we just became child like play, like ride our bikes around. We grew up in a town of 3,000 people, farmland,
and this was in Illinois,
in southern Illinois, and so we just played. We were always together. And then in 7th grade, he ended up moving next door to us, and so we played football out in the backyard after school every day, and those kind of things. And then more into our junior high, 7th, 8th grade year, he asked me to be his girlfriend, whatever that meant. And so then we, said we were boyfriend and girlfriend in middle school and junior high. And then going on into high school, we dated all through high school. And then we got married in June after I graduated high school, and did college together, and have been married 33 years.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That does not happen very often, anymore, especially. Yeah. But so what was that like for you, going through college as a young married person and seeing all these other single people running around and doing? Did that affect you much?
I think it really didn't at the I don't know. I guess because I felt like I just had a lot of fun in high school, probably more than I should have. That once I got to college, I was just like laser focused on getting a degree and getting out and getting in the workforce. And I think a lot of this comes from too, like when you and I were talking, I'm a visionary. I'm a big dreamer. I am very much a visionary, and I had dreams of getting out of that small town of 3,000 people, and I knew that was the way to do it. And so I was very much ready. And also we started having children very young, so I was a young mom, and so my focus was just very different.
A lot of shift in priorities versus everybody else.
So the whole partying in college wasn't really my main focus. It was really about doing the things I needed to do to start working. And at that time, becoming a teacher was super important to me. Like I was really excited about that. So I love kids and learning, and so that I was really excited to get going with that.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that time in your career?
It was really just I think back on it, and I was so young. I mean, I probably would do a better job now. I don't know, but it was it's so cool to see. Teaching first grade, so you've got like these little babies, coming in, and they're really in that stages of learning to read. And I'm a lover of literature. I love books and I love writing. And so just watching this transition from where they come and then where they end the year is just like really rewarding. And and they just are, they love you. Like, it's just, we just had so much fun with them. And it's really cool now because a lot of them are my Facebook friends. So I get to like watch them and their transitions of having babies and their work, what they're doing. But and I always tell people I didn't leave teaching because I didn't like it, or it really was more about opportunity for other things that came up that I just pursued again, I felt was right for my family. So if teachers were paid a lot more, and I knew there were things that I wanted to do that I wasn't probably going to be able to do on the salary I was making when I first started as a teacher, I think I started out at like 20,000 was what they were paying a small rural community, and it just, and I had no desire to be a principal either. Like I liked working with the kids, but I learned a lot. So I again, I didn't leave it because I didn't love it, just other opportunity, but I learned a lot. I think the things I learned by being a teacher play a big part in my role as what I do now with the education piece and teaching. And then I think too, then that transition into pharmaceutical, I learned a lot of business sense. So I think both of those careers really helped me be the best at what I can do now. And I'm still always learning. Like I'm going Thursday. I've got a study group meeting to just go kind of network with some people who do this much better than I do, and I'm just always trying to learn and improve and get better. And I think that's what helps us. And also keeps me excited.
Yeah,
about,
absolutely.
When I surround myself with people who are doing it better than I am, or trying new things and everything, it just kind of pumps you up and makes you happy, just like you're doing. Like this is incredible. I've loved watching your journey. I mean, I from what your vision of starting this and everything and where you've taken it. So
it's
kudos to
grown.
You.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So you went in to do something with the state, I believe you said, of Illinois was your next move. What was that?
Yeah, I worked for the Illinois State Board of Education. I helped them with creating curriculum. Okay. We did standards and worked on that. But most what I did with them is I would go into low performing schools and really just do workshops and work with their teachers and go into the classrooms, and the teacher would get to just set, and I would teach lessons and then work with, and then the two of us would get together and talk about some things and just different styles of teaching. At the time we were doing what was called 4 blocks, which is balanced literacy. So we were really showing an approach of how you can take writing and reading and math and science, and they all cross over into all the areas. So you could be teaching reading during science and writing during math, and so it was a little bit of just that balance. But also the part of it was how you can have a classroom, which many people do, a classroom of students who were at all different levels. I mean, those first graders come in, they're not all on the same level. So how do you make sure you're challenging the students that might be more at a third grade level, while you're also focusing and bringing up those kids that might not have, they may even came in right at a first grade level or even below. How do you continue to pull them up, but not hold the, and have everybody moving up in that direction? So a lot of work with how to, make sure kids aren't getting bored in the classroom. How are we challenging kids, and how are we making sure we're not asking too much of a child, and really helping, get them to feel successful and happy. I think a lot of behaviors sometimes happen because kids feel like, like, why does this person understand it and I don't? And then they just start acting out, so how can we make sure that they feel happy and successful in their journey through that? So that was exciting. That was really fun, working with a lot of school districts all over the country. So not just in Illinois, because we got to go to Texas and a lot of other places too, that we worked with a lot of schools. Yeah.
Well, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe it, but our half hour is almost
Wow.
up. I know, it went by so fast. But I do want to ask you one last question,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay if you don't have an answer, but
Yeah.
do you have anything else that you wanted to address today that I did not ask you?
Oh goodness. You know what? I don't know that I have anything that I want to address. I think that if I have anything to say, and I love what you're doing, is, and one of the things I love about our community is just remembering to pause, to breathe, and to be grateful. And the reason why I think about this is when in our travels, there was a moment we were at the airport and I saw this sign, and it was actually had like three things that people aren't, do not get rude, do not do the, and it was like, don't act out, don't be violent. And I thought, oh my gosh, do we have to have signs like this for adults? So I know sometimes things get heated or whatever, but just to like that pause and that breath, and just think about the things that we should be grateful for. And and just I try to spread some joy and happiness and in sometimes difficult situations. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Angie.
Well,
I really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for all you're doing.
Well, thank you. Well, everybody, thank you for also joining us here on the Locala podcast. I'm Lisa Anderson, your host and publisher of Locala Magazine. If you would like to learn more about Angie, we'll have the link to her story down in our description, or you can simply visit www.localamag.com. We'll also link to her business so you can learn more about her there. And we'd like to thank our sponsor one last time, which is Your Place Mortgage and Title. You can visit them at www.yourplaceocala.com. Thank you once again for joining us here on Locala, where we focus on connections through stories.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed today's podcast video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And while you're here, why don't you go ahead and check out some of these cool videos?